If a tree from someone else's property falls and injures you or your property, who's responsible? I'm Tim Miley. They call me the Tiger, and this is Tiger Talks. I have to make a confession. My biggest fear is being killed by a tree falling on my vehicle when I'm driving down the road. So given my fears, I've been paying attention to trees falling and the damage they cause and who's responsible, if anybody. Most trees fall during storms or high wind, but it usually brings down the trees that are the weakest. I think a lot of people have the misunderstanding that neighbors are responsible for the damage their trees do to other people's property or, God forbid, to other people. Your neighbor is responsible only if they had reason to know that their tree might be damaged or rotted, then they might be liable. But if for some reason an act of God brings down a tree because we had an unusual snowstorm or windstorm, and that tree comes down on your property, it may not be your neighbor's fault, and their homeowner's insurance, if they have it, may not pay for your damage. If my neighbor's insurance company is not going to pay for the harm that their tree falling on my house or my car caused, will my insurance company pay for it? In most cases, yes. But obviously, you don't want to make a claim if you don't have to on your own insurance policy because, as we all know, it'll make your insurance rates go up. Everybody has an obligation to provide the care and maintenance for their trees to make sure those trees don't cause damage to their neighbor's property. Well, if a neighbor's tree is dead or has dead limbs, your neighbor has an obligation to take care of that tree and get it down. If they don't, then they're responsible for the harm they caused. But what happens if the insurance company takes the position, that was a healthy tree, our insured, your neighbor is not liable, and you're on your own, pal? You either have to do one of two things. You have to file a lawsuit against your neighbor, which no one really wants to do they? Or you have to turn it into your own homeowner's insurance company. But if you do that, they might file a suit against your neighbor to get reimbursed. Another situation that you've probably seen hundreds of times, the tree is on one person's property, but the branches hang over and lean over on someone else's property. Can the property owner under those branches trim the branches to make sure that branches don't fall down and injure your property or anybody in your family? You can cut those limbs. Now, the reality is, though, you ought to go talk to your neighbor and make sure you work it out with him or her about cutting those branches. You want good neighborly relations, I would think. Let's say after a storm, you walk out and a tree has fallen on part of your house or has fallen on one of your cars. What do? First, you need to find out if the tree was on your property or someone else's property. If it was on someone else's property, you need to look and see whether there's any indication that the tree was unhealthy. You're likely going to see a breakage either at some part of the trunk or the tree branch, and you can tell, or certainly an expert can come and look. You need to get as much evidence as you can as soon after the event happens so that you can preserve it just in case you need it. Once that tree is removed, you'll not have any access to it to take pictures or to have it examined by someone as to what the condition of that tree was. What you need to do is go to your neighbor and say, hey, turn this into your insurance company to pay for the damage that their tree caused to your property. If the fallen tree or tree branch causes injury to someone, you need to call 911 just as fast as you can. If they get hit by that falling branch or tree, they're going to be seriously injured, and you need to make sure they're taken care of. I would love to see any of these situations we've talked about be avoided. No one wants their home or their car damaged, and God forbid, no one wants to be hurt by a falling tree or a falling branch. One of the ways you can prevent this from happening is to have a lawn service company or a tree company come out to your home within a few days of Labor Day to assess the condition of your trees. And why Labor Day weekend? If the leaves are still on the trees, and you can see if some parts of the tree have dead leaves and dead branches and other parts that are not. If you see a dead tree or dead limbs on your neighbor's property, give your neighbor a call, send them a letter, but put them on notice of your concern. That way, the ball's in their court to take action. If they do nothing and that tree or that limb causes damage, you at least have evidence of having put them on notice, and therefore they now can't be said that they're not responsible for the damage the tree caused. Thanks for watching Tiger Talks. If you have any more legal questions, give us a call. We want to hear from you. I don't have all the answers, and more importantly, I don't have all the questions to know to ask. So please, if you know of a situation that was unique to you or your property or your neighbor's property, leave some comments below. We'll try to answer them for you. Go to our website at MileyLegal.com or subscribe to more Tiger Talks.